Welcome back to Power Rangers Shark Attack, the podcast where we dive deep into the adventures of our favorite ocean protectors.
We're the Rangers of the sea, riding on the wave, sharks in our face, fearless and brave, underwater heroes fighting to save. The power of the ocean, here to pave the way. Ride the riptide, feel the surge, shark attack team ready to emerge. Power Rangers Shark Attack, on a mission so bright, with courage and might, we'll win the fight. Thundering guitars, drums that excite, we're the guardians of the deep, bring on the night. We're the guardians of the deep, bring on the night. With an armed wave, we'll make it work, defenders of the sea, true to our purpose, Shark Attack Rangers, our dedication never shirks. Feel the adrenaline as we dive. Power Rangers Shark Attack, on a mission so bright, with courage and might, we'll win the fight. Thundering guitars, drums that excite, we're the guardians of the deep, bring on the night. We're the guardians of the deep.
Last time, the Rangers faced the Predator and secured their research on Morphon crystals. New alliances and challenges await our heroes. Join us as we continue the story in Episode 6, The Magna Ranger. The Megalozord command sub was buzzing with activity as the Rangers prepared for their next mission. Alvin, Chip, Monica, Henry, and Courtney gathered around the central table, reviewing their latest findings. "We need to stay ahead of the Predator," Alvin said. "She's after our research on Morphon crystals, and we can't let her get her hands on it." Monica, still harboring some tension towards Alvin, nodded. "We also need to figure out who she is and why she's so interested in the crystals." Chip, who had been quiet, finally spoke up. "There's something about her fighting style. It's almost like I've seen it before." Courtney suddenly perked up as the communication system crackled to life. "Rangers, we've detected an unusual energy signature near the coral reef. It could be another Morphon crystal." "Let's check it out," Alvin decided. "We need to secure any crystals before the Predator or the pirate gang can get to them." The team suited up and dove into the depths, guided by Henry's advanced sonar technology. As they navigated the underwater terrain, they stumbled upon a hidden cave, its entrance obscured by coral and seaweed. "This must be the place," Chip said, his eyes scanning the surroundings. The Rangers entered the cave cautiously, their lights cutting through the murky water. As they ventured deeper, they discovered an ancient chamber filled with glowing crystals and mysterious carvings. "Look at these markings," Monica said, her voice filled with awe. "They're similar to the ones we've seen in the ancient texts." Suddenly, their Morphon energy began to react to something in the cave. They followed the source of the reaction and found a figure trapped in a crystal, frozen in time. "What is this?" Henry asked, his eyes wide with shock. Alvin stepped closer, examining the crystal. "It's Brandon, Dr. Brandon Larkin." Monica's eyes widened. "Brandon? How is this possible?" Alvin explained. "Brandon was our colleague. We thought we lost him during an expedition years ago." The crystal began to crack and shatter, and Brandon slowly emerged, his body coming back to life. He took a deep breath, his eyes blinking open as he looked around in confusion. "Alvin? Monica?" Brandon's voice was weak but filled with recognition. "Brandon, it's really you," Alvin said, helping him stand. "We thought we'd lost you during that expedition." "I was trapped," Brandon explained, his voice gaining strength. "The cave collapsed during a seismic event, and I was caught in the rubble. The Morphon crystal must have sensed my danger and preserved me." Brandon took a moment to gather his thoughts before continuing. "Before I was trapped, I discovered this device in the cave." He held up a gleaming object. "It's called the Magna. When I found it, the White Morphin Master appeared before me. He told me that it channels the power of the great white shark and that I was chosen to wield it." Just as he finished explaining, the cave started to collapse. The Morphon crystal acted to preserve me. The team watched in awe as Brandon activated the Magna, transforming into the Magna Ranger. With this power, we can stand a better chance against our enemies. As they exited the cave, the Rangers were suddenly ambushed by the Predator and a group of Buccaloids. The Predator's eyes gleamed with malice as she advanced on the Rangers. "You again," she hissed. "This time, you won't escape." The battle erupted with a ferocity unlike any they had faced before. The Predator's attacks were swift and brutal, her movements fueled by a dark determination. Chip, wielding his savage sabers, faced off against her, their weapons clashing with sparks of energy. "Why are you doing this?" he demanded. "What do you want with the crystals?" "The crystals hold a power you can't begin to comprehend," the Predator replied. "And I will harness that power, no matter the cost." Meanwhile, Henry and Courtney fought side by side, their bond strengthening as they defended each other against the Buccaloids. "We've got this, Courtney," Henry said, his voice filled with determination. "Together, we can take them down." Courtney nodded, her eyes fierce with resolve. "Let's do this, Henry." As the battle raged on, Brandon, now the Magna Ranger, joined the fray. His powerful attacks turned the tide, giving the Rangers a much-needed advantage. Realizing she was outmatched, the Predator decided to retreat. "This isn't over," she snarled, disappearing into the shadows. The Rangers regrouped, their spirits bolstered by their victory, but aware of the challenges that still lay ahead. "With the Magna Ranger on our side, we're stronger than ever," Alvin said, his voice filled with determination. "But we need to stay vigilant. The Predator will return, and we need to be ready." Chip nodded, his resolve unwavering. "We'll be ready for her, and we'll find out who she really is." Meanwhile, aboard the interdimensional fallen pirate ship, tension was brewing between Predatox and Swasher. They stood before Captain Blackfin, who was furious over the Predator's retreat. "You failed," Blackfin growled, his eyes burning with anger. "You were supposed to secure the research, not run away." Predatox stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "The Predator is still learning her strength. We need to give her time to grow stronger." Swasher snickered, his grotesque form shaking with amusement. "Or maybe she's not as powerful as we thought." Predatox's eyes narrowed. "She'll prove herself. Mark my words." Back at the Megalozord command sub, the Rangers were determined to uncover the truth about their new enemy. Alvin and Monica pored over the ancient texts, searching for any clues. "We need to stay vigilant," Alvin said, his voice filled with resolve. "The Predator is still out there, and she won't stop until she gets what she wants." Chip stared at the holographic display, the image of the Predator haunting his thoughts. "We'll be ready for her, and we'll find out who she really is." As the team continued their training and research, the bond between them grew stronger. They knew they had to work together if they were going to protect the ocean and uncover the truth behind their new enemy. Later, as the Rangers gathered in the common area, Alvin turned to Monica. "Monica, there's something we need to discuss." Monica looked at him, a mix of emotions crossing her face. "What is it, Alvin?" Alvin took a deep breath. "Brandon's return. It means more than just getting another Ranger. Before he was trapped, you two were engaged." Monica's eyes welled with tears as she nodded. "I know, Alvin, and now that he's back, we have to figure out where we go from here." Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Power Rangers Shark Attack. The Rangers face new threats and discover new allies, but their journey is far from over. Join us next time as they continue to protect the ocean from the forces of evil. Until then, keep riding the riptide.